Hey guys, the Whips and Dumbbells here, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be basically Keto 101. It's going to be talking about my tips and tricks of how to start keto, to be honest. It's one of the things that I always get is, on my social medias, how do I start keto? What are some tips? What is keto? So if you're watching this video, you obviously have some interest. You've heard the buzzword. You're trying to figure out how to start it. So one of my things for keto is understand what it is, to be honest, because keto is a higher fat, lower carb lifestyle. And I say lifestyle because you need to have the mindset of this being long term and not just a quick fix. And I feel that when you start keto, when you start thinking of it as a lifestyle, not just a diet or a fad, you're most likely to be more successful on keto. The next thing is understand what keto is. Like I mentioned, keto is a higher fat, lower carb lifestyle, which puts your body into the state of ketosis. Ketosis basically means that you're putting your body into a metabolic state where you're using fat and ketones as fuel versus using carbs and glucose as fuel. You see, way back when our bodies used to be running off of this type of lifestyle, and then now, with all the industry of sugars and carbs, our body has turned a just different way. So now it's the process of getting our body to going back to its old state. So if I lost you on the word ketosis and some of the words like ketogenic, do your research. That's another tip, is do your research. Understand the science behind it. Truly understand, because when anyone asks me about keto, I always ask them, have you done your research? Do you understand? There's only so much that I can explain to you, but if you don't understand what your body is doing and why your body is feeling a certain way, it's really going to be hard for you to really last long with keto. For example, you can say, oh, you're at a family party, and then your family's like, why aren't you eating bread? You're like, oh, I'm keto. And they're like, what's keto? Oh, high fat, low carb. Oh, and then they don't understand, and they start to belittle you because you don't want to have carbs. But when you truly understand the science and you can explain it to them, it makes more sense. And they're like, oh, okay. My family luckily already knows what I'm doing, and they don't really talk to me. They kind of just let me do my own thing. So thank you guys. When you start keto, I suggest start to track your macros, because with keto, the main thing is it's not really in the sense of counting calories, it's more of counting macros. I'm talking counting fats, proteins, and carbs. Ideally, your carbs should be 70, fat should be 70%, your protein should be 20%, and your 10 should be around 10%. If you need help figuring your numbers, you can always look online, Google a simple macro calculator. There's a whole bunch of free ones, but that's ideally roughly the numbers. Your macro should stay that. You can use Carb Manager to track your macros. I'm pretty faithful with MyFitnessPal. I've used it for years. There's a whole bunch of resources to figure out how to change your macros in the settings. Your main goal for your carbs is to stay under 20 net carbs. Now, how to figure out your net carbs is simple. So you just use the net carbs equals the total carbs minus the fiber. So when you're looking at any ingredients list, or if you need to figure out if your food doesn't have a nutritional list on it, which you should try to stay near it, then you should use MyFitnessPal to research how many carbs and the nutritional facts on this item is. Now that we talked about nutritional facts and macros and fats and proteins and carbs, what can you eat? Well, the simplest way I like to say is when you're out and about or at home, just think of it as meat and veggies. That's the simplest way to think of it, as meat and veggies. And I say this in because when people start let's say you're doing the keto diet and you go out to eat and you're like, oh man, I can't eat any of this. Well, if you think of it as meat and veggies, 9 times out of 10, any restaurant's gonna have like chicken and veggies. They're gonna have steak and veggies. So if you keep it that way, then you're golden. So some of the foods that you can have are like fattier cuts of meat and veggies, lots of leafy greens. In regards to oils, you're gonna fats, you can eat butter, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, ghee, MCT oil. If you want to eat fruit, it's always recommended you eat the lower glycemic ones. So like all the berries, blackberries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. So stay in the berries. But for me, I don't eat any berries just because I choose not to have those extra carbs and my body does better. Everybody's different. You just have to know what your body likes. Another thing that you can add with foods are nuts. So like macadamia nuts, almonds, pecans, cashews. But you want to make sure you look and see which are the lower carb ones. And then also cheese. Cheese. Too bad my body, and thank you PCOS, does not like cheese, so I can't have it. But it's a-okay on the keto diet. So another tip that I have for you when you're on eating a ketogenic lifestyle or keto diet is to keep it simple. Why? Because sometimes when you're starting a keto lifestyle, you can get very overwhelmed with all the numbers and all the research and all the scientific terms, and you're like, what? So like I mentioned, meat and veggies, keep it simple. Make sure you add some avocado, some butter, healthier oils to your meals. And when you keep it simple, it makes you more relaxed. And so when I start anyone off, like, and I'm helping them with any keto meal plans, just like keep it simple. For me, I keep it simple. I don't go extra fancy. I get like a chicken thigh and some zucchini and I call it a day. And it also, when you're on a budget and you don't have the resources to like go all the extravagant, keto is very budget friendly because, you can go with like chicken thighs with the meat on it and then some veggies. Like you'll save way more money on keto, like sticking to like keeping it simple and eating the same meals than pretty much any other lifestyle. So now that you have your main meals, some snacks that you can grab on the go are like hard-boiled eggs, avocado, jerky. I really like pepperoni and salami roll-ups. So you just put the two meats together and then you kind of like roll them up. Some nuts. You can also have cheese. Some processed is like Quest bars, low-carb bars. So you have to watch out for the sugars. I really, 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 really love pork rinds. So I just eat pork rinds like crazy. Those are really good, like snacks to grab when you're studying. You can munch on that. Another tip would be prepared. When you have a weekend event or you're going camping or you're going to Disneyland, like be prepared to know like what's going to happen. So if you're going to a restaurant, look at the menu ahead of time and know like what foods you can have. And so you automatically know and you're like, okay, I'm going in with the plan. I'm going to prep my meals for this, like for Disneyland. I'm going to prep my meals and go. I'm going to a weekend trip. I'm going to bring all the foods I can eat. If I'm going to a family party, bring something that you can eat, but also share, because at least you have one thing that you can eat, like a big salad or just like a casserole that's keto friendly or something that you can eat. And like I said, keep it simple. When you start trying to get fancy and doing all this extra stuff, that's when people start getting discouraged and starts taking up a lot of time. Now, talking about parties, you're going to want to cheat or drink. I always suggest don't do it. One, if you drink and you're in ketosis, you're more than likely 100% to get drunker quicker because your body doesn't have any carbs, so your body's going to soak up that alcohol and get you drunk. Believe me, it will happen. But if you must drink, there's a lot of low carb alcohol drinks now in cans. You could go for a liquor, low carb beers, but again, it's really not worth the calories and the carbs, but you will also get drunker quicker. And if you're going to have a cheat treat meal, think of it as adding more calories, not carbs. So for example, you could always go to Buffalo Wild Wings and order a lot of traditional wings, not like the breaded ones, and just go ham on it, literally. And you know that you're gonna feel okay because you didn't have the carbs. So if you can have just more calories and ditch the carbs, it's easier. Like if I'm going to treat, I get like a cauliflower pizza crust pizza with cheese, even though I know cheese is not good for me, but that's some things that you can look at. Here is a non-negotiable. I'm talking like no ifs, ands, or buts, like you need it. Like go on Amazon, order it, and I'll tell you why. So electrolytes. When you are on a ketogenic lifestyle, your body is in a state of burning fat as fuel. So your body is constantly working nonstop. In that case, when you're drinking a lot of water, you're drinking exogenous ketones, your body's burning through it, and you need to supplement the electrolytes that it's burning. So I always suggest adding a lot of pink Himalayan salt to all your meals. I add it with my water. Add regular salt. You can buy electrolyte supplements online that you can take. And the reason why is when you need to take electrolytes is because if you don't, then your body's going to go in a sense of like you feel like run over, you're going to have fatigue. And that is called Keto Flu. It's a real thing. Google it. A lot of people like day 3, they're like, man, keto is not for me. I feel run down. I feel sick. I have a headache. I'm constipated. I just feel like I got the flu. And when you do, it's because you need to up your electrolytes. You can have some exogenous ketones. You can make some bulletproof coffee, add some butter and salt to it. Like I said, exogenous ketones, bone broth with some salt. And because your body needs to replenish. So when you start feeling like fatigue, that's when you know, oh, I need more electrolytes. I need to up it. So hopefully this kind of makes sense to you and I explained it well for you on how to start a ketogenic lifestyle, the 101. So again, change your mindset, make sure it's like a long term. Understand what keto is and do the research so you understand the science. So when people start questioning you, you know how to rebuttal it. Make sure you have your macros tracked and set up with MyFitnessPal or Carb Manager. If you don't understand how to use it, you can also look on YouTube for a video. Make sure you understand like the foods that you can eat. Remember, think of a higher fattier meat and veggies, and then add some extra healthy fats and oils and nuts. Keep it simple. It helps you stay budget friendly. Look at some snacks and plan to be prepared. Try not to cheat or drink, as well as electrolytes is a non-negotiable. So if this video was helpful for you, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and help other ketogenic friends. Bye guys.